Today, we're diving into the world of functions, specifically focusing on domain and range. By the end of this video, you'll be able to calculate the domain and range of any function. Let's get started. What is a function? A function is defined as a relation between a set of inputs having one output each. In mathematics, a function is typically written using its name, inputs, and outputs. Let's see an example. Arun loves buying books online. Each book costs $6, plus there's a $4 postage fee. If he buys one book, the total cost will be $10. If he buys two books, the total cost will be $16. If he buys three books, the total cost will be $22. Likewise, we can calculate the total cost using the number of books. In mathematics, we can describe this relationship with a simple function, fx equal to 6x plus 4. X represents the number of books Arun buys, and fx gives us the total cost when Arun buys x books. This function helps us figure out the total cost for any number of books Arun buys. Let's see another example. A car travels at a constant speed of 10 meters per second. How do we create a function to calculate the distance it covers during a time period of x seconds? For a car cruising at a steady speed, we can find out how far it travels in any given time by multiplying its velocity by the time. We can write this relationship between distance and time using a function. Functions are like handy tools that help us solve all sorts of problems in many different situations. Now, let's dive into the concepts of domain and range. A function takes inputs, processes them, and gives us the outputs. The domain of a function simply tells us which values we're allowed to use as inputs. On the other hand, the range of a function shows us all the possible values it can give us as outputs. We write the domain and range using interval notation or set notation. Interval notation is handy when dealing with continuous ranges. Instead of using the familiar inequality symbols, it uses brackets. Here's a quick guide. Parentheses mean less than, but not including, or greater than but not including. Hard brackets mean less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. For interval notation, you need two endpoints. If you only know one limit, you use infinity for the other. And remember, when infinity is used in interval notation, it's always accompanied by a parenthesis, not a hard bracket. Set notation is versatile. It works for both continuous and discrete ranges. While it may not be as concise as interval notation, it's still a useful tool for mathematicians. It tells us two key things: the types of numbers included in the set, like real numbers or integers, which specific numbers are not part of the set. Let's talk about our previous example first. Arun buys books online, each costing $6 plus a $4 postage fee. We express this relationship with the function like this. This function helps us figure out the total cost based on the number of books. Now, what's the domain of this function? The domain represents the possible number of books Arun can buy. It must be greater than 0 and a whole number. Since this is a discrete range, we can't neatly use interval notation. Instead, we use set notation. In this case, it looks like this. This set tells us that x, the number of books, belongs to the set of natural numbers, n, and is greater than 0. Let's break down the set notation we used. This can be read as such that x. This part indicates that x is an element of the set of natural numbers, n. The symbol means is an element of. Now, the set of natural numbers typically starts from 1, but some considers it includes 0 as well. To be precise, we add another condition. This extra condition refines the set further, stating, and x is greater than 0. So only elements that are both natural numbers and greater than 0 will be included in the set. Now let's determine the range. The range represents all the possible total cost values Arun has to pay. We observe that for each additional book Arun buys, the total cost increases by $6, starting from the minimum input of one book. Hence, we can write the range as $10, $16, $22, and so on. Again, the range is also composed of discrete values. We can express this pattern in set notation as this. This set tells us that the total cost fx follows the pattern 6x plus 4, where x is a natural number greater than 0. Likewise, we can find the domain and range of any function. But most of the time, you'll encounter a function without knowing what the inputs and outputs represent. In these cases, it's crucial to watch out for values that can't be used in mathematics, such as dividing by 0, taking the square root of a negative number, taking the logarithm of a negative number. Let's see another example. Find the domain and range of the following function. We don't actually know what x and fx represent, but we can still identify their mathematical limitations. Since there are no x values in the denominator, no square roots, and no logarithms, there are no potential undefined values. You can substitute any real number into this function, so the domain includes all real numbers, which range from negative infinity to positive infinity. In set notation, the domain is represented between curly brackets like this, and in interval notation, we write the domain as this. Again, remember to always use parentheses for infinity in interval notation. Now let's talk about the range. To find the range, it is often best to draw the graph of the function. Since this is a linear function, it forms a straight line on the graph. Let's find a couple of key points to sketch this line. When x is 0, the f0 equals 5. Let's mark the point 0, 5 on the graph. When fx is 0, solving for x gives x equal minus 5 over 3. Let's mark the point minus 5 over 3 and 0 on the graph. Connecting these points, we see that the line extends infinitely in both directions. The range is also all real numbers. In set notation, the range is represented between curly brackets like this. In interval notation, we write the range as this. Again, remember to always use parentheses for infinity in interval notation. Keep in mind, for any linear function, domain and range will be all the real numbers. Let's move on to next example. Find the domain and range of the following function. We don't actually know what x and fx represent, but we can still identify their mathematical limitations. Since there are no x variables in the denominator, no square roots, and no logarithms, there's no way to encounter undefined values for any real number. You can substitute any real number you want into this function, and you'll always get an answer. So, the domain includes all real numbers, which range from negative infinity to positive infinity. In set notation, the range is represented between curly brackets like this. In interval notation, we write the range as this. Again, remember to always use parentheses for infinity in interval notation. Now let's find the range. As I mentioned earlier, it is often best to draw the graph of the function. This is a quadratic function. Let's substitute some values for x and calculate fx to draw the graph. If x is minus 2, fx is equal to 11. If x is minus 1, fx is 5. If x is 0, then the fx is 3. If x is 1, then the fx is 5. If x is 2, then the fx is 11. Now we can plot the graph using these points. We can see that the domain includes all real numbers, from negative infinity to positive infinity. However, the minimum value of the range is 3, and it extends to positive infinity. So the range of this function includes the positive 3 to infinity. In set notation, this range is represented as this, and in interval notation, we write the range as this. Keep in mind, in interval notation, we use hard brackets to show that 3 is included in this range and always use parentheses for infinity. Let's move on to next example. Find the domain and range of the following function. First, identify any values of x that would make the function undefined. We can see there is a x variable in the denominator, but no square roots and no logarithms. What numbers can we substitute into this function? At first glance, it seems like any number will do. But hold on a moment, what happens if we substitute 5 for the x? We divide by 0, which is not allowed. So x cannot be 5. When there is an x in the denominator, we must ensure the denominator does not equal 0. Always check which values of x make the denominator 0. In this case, it is 5. Those values should not be used for x. we have found that x cannot be 5. So the domain of this function is all real numbers except 5. In set notation, the domain is represented as follows. This tells us that x can be any real number except 5. In interval notation, we write the domain as a union of two intervals. Keep in mind that the parentheses indicate that 5 is not included in the domain. Most of the time in problems, you are asked only to find the domain. However, if you need to find the range, it is best to draw the graph. Let's substitute some values for x and calculate fx to draw the graph. If x is minus 1, fx is equal to minus 0.17. If x is 3, fx is minus 0.5. If x is 4.9, the fx is minus 10. If x is 5.1, then the fx is 10. If x is 7, then the fx is 0.5. If x is 11, then the fx is 0.17. Now we can plot the graph using these points. This is our domain. The value of fx approaches negative infinity and positive infinity, but never actually reaches 0. So the range includes all real numbers except 0. We can write the domain using set notation like this. In interval notation, we write the range as a union of two intervals. Keep in mind that the parentheses indicate that 0 is not included in the range. Let's move on to next example. Find the domain and range of the following function. First, identify any values of x that would make the function undefined. We can see there is an x variable in the denominator, but no square roots or logarithms. We must not let the denominator equal 0. If we know the x values that make the denominator 0, we can avoid those. So what values of x make the denominator 0? Let's calculate. It seems 4 and minus 1 make the denominator 0, so we cannot use those values for x. Thus, the domain is all real numbers except minus 1 and 4. We can write it using set notation like this. In interval notation, we write the range as a union of three intervals. Keep in mind that the parentheses indicate that 4 and minus 1 is not included in the range. The range seems harder to figure out from the formula alone, so we can draw the graph by substituting some values for x and finding the corresponding fx. If x is minus 3, fx is equal to minus 0.21. If x is minus 1.1, fx is minus 2.16. If x is minus 0.9, then the fx is 1.84. If x is 1.5, then the fx is minus 0.24. If x is 3.9, then the fx is minus 7.96. If x is 4.1, then the fx is 8.04. If x is 6, fx is equal to 0.43. Now we can plot the graph using these points. We can see that the domain consists of all real numbers except minus 1 and 4. But observe the range of fx. It includes all the real numbers from minus infinity to positive infinity. We can write the range in set notation like this. And we write the range using interval notation like this. Let's move on to next example. Find the domain and range of the following function. First, identify any values of x that would make the function undefined. We can see there is an x variable in the square root, but no denominator or logarithms. We only have to ensure the radicand, the expression inside the square root, is non-negative. What values of x make the term inside the square root negative? Let's calculate. If x is less than minus 3 over 2, the radicand becomes negative. So x cannot be less than minus 3 over 2. The domain does not contain any value less than minus 3 over 2. That means the domain includes all the real numbers equal to or greater than minus 3 over 2. We can write the domain in set notation like this, and we write the range using interval notation like this. Keep in mind, in interval notation, we use hard brackets to show that the minus 3 over 2 is included in this range, and always use parentheses for infinity. The range seems harder to figure out from the formula alone, so we can draw the graph by substituting some values for x and finding the corresponding fx. If x is minus 1.5, fx is equal to minus 1. If x is 0, fx is 0.73. If x is 1.5, then the fx is 1.45. If x is 3, then the fx is 2. If x is 4.5, then the fx is 2.46. Now we can plot the graph using these points. We can see that the domain consists of all real numbers equal or greater than minus 1.5. And the range of fx includes all the real numbers equal or greater than minus 1. We can write the range in set notation like this, and we write the range using interval notation like this. Keep in mind, in interval notation, we use hard brackets to show that the minus 1 is included in this range, and always use parentheses for infinity. Let's move on to next example. Find the domain and range of the following function. We must be very careful with this function since it involves both a rational expression and a square root. Since there is a denominator, we cannot divide by 0. That's not all. The square root requires the radicand, the expression inside the square root, to be greater than or equal to 0. We can write this mathematically like this. Let's calculate the domain. Therefore, the domain includes all the real numbers equal or greater than 1, but not 5. We can write the domain in set notation like this, and we write the domain using interval notation like this. Keep in mind, in interval notation, we use hard brackets to show that the 1 is included in the domain, and we use parentheses for 5, because 5 is not included in the domain. The range seems harder to figure out from the formula alone, so we can draw the graph by substituting some values for x and finding the corresponding fx. If x is 1, fx is equal to minus 0.5. If x is 3, fx is minus 1.71. If x is 4.9, then the fx is minus 39.75. If x is 5.1, then the fx is 40.25. If x is 10, then the fx is 1. If x is 17, then the fx is 0.5. Now we can plot the graph using these points. We can see that the domain consists of all real numbers equal or greater than 1, but not 5. Now pay attention to the range. We can see the graph does not exist between 0 and minus 0.5. So all the values from minus infinity to minus 0.5 and 0 to positive infinity are possible for the range. We can write the range in set notation like this, and we write the range using interval notation like this. Keep in mind, in interval notation, we use hard brackets to show that the minus 0.5 is included in this range, and we use parentheses for 0 because fx never becomes 0. These examples cover all the common problems you will encounter. Practice them well, and you'll be able to handle any function you come across. That's all for today's lesson. Be sure to check back for another interesting video. Thanks for watching.
If you think my contents are valuable to the world, you are welcome to join my Patreon community. Like and subscribe to Professor Mad for more interesting videos.